Hey there! People often ask me why I switched to a plant-based diet. About 4 years ago, I watched the documentaries Food Choices and What the Health. I was curious at that time about how food impacted my body. I had always eaten what I thought was a pretty healthy diet, lots of vegetables and fruits and meat and cheese as well, but still lots of grains and things like that, getting plenty of fiber and all that stuff. But I really started to wonder if there were ways that I could do even better. So after watching those documentaries, I spent actually quite a bit of time doing research about the claims made in those documentaries. And long story short, I decided to make the switch. I didn't have any health conditions that forced me to make a big change in my diet. I've never had high blood pressure or high cholesterol. And my weight at that time I was at a very healthy weight. Everything was fine, but I wanted to be preventative. I wanted to do whatever I could in order to decrease my risk of cancer, especially breast cancer as I get older, and Alzheimer's disease. I have a huge fear of that, as I think we all probably do. And I also wanted to decrease inflammation in my body, and food is a big contributing factor to that. I wanted to have less achy joints so I could make sure I could keep doing my favorite activity, which is hiking and working out. And I also wanted to do more to help the health of our planet. So I decided to make the switch. My parents, however, really needed to make a change to their diet. They were both in their mid to late 60s and both retired. So both my parents had high blood pressure. My mom was also on the verge of being diabetic, and she suffered from chronic kidney disease. She was at stage 3.5, and at stage 5, your kidneys completely fail, and you die, or you have to get a kidney transplant. Both of my parents were 50 plus pounds overweight. They'd both eaten what they thought was a pretty healthy diet also. We'd been raised eating vegetables, always had to have a cooked vegetable and a salad with our dinners. But they also were eating a lot of meat and cheese and a lot of processed foods. My dad loved salami and cheese and crackers as a snack, and my mom had a huge sweet tooth. So she loved the pastries and the cookies and all that yummy stuff. But they realized that they really needed to make a change after my dad had his second cardiac episode. So he was out on a walk by the beach, and he basically had a mild heart attack, and thankfully was able to drive himself to the hospital. So again, after that second episode where he got really, really lucky and survived it, they decided they needed to make a change. And it just so happened that I sent them the links to these documentaries, the Food Choices and the What the Health documentaries. And they were at that time ready to make a change. So they literally the very next day went into their refrigerator and their kitchen cabinets and emptied out all of the animal products, so all the meats and cheeses and ice cream and all that stuff, and decided to go 100% and to really go for it, because whatever they'd been doing before, it wasn't working. You know, they were not getting healthier, they were actually getting less healthy and going down a very dangerous path. So now we're on the eve of our anniversary of eating a whole foods plant-based diet. My brother actually eats a mostly plant-based diet as well. He's always been super healthy with also no chronic health issues. But my parents now, I'm happy to report, have each lost about 45 pounds. And that is solely due to their change of diet. My dad does projects around the house and gardens, but doesn't do any programmed exercise. And my mom does very little programmed exercise. So their weight loss has been solely due to their diet. But the biggest change, the most important change, is that they're completely off all of their medications. So no more high blood pressure medication, no more medication for kidney disease. They are completely free of meds and feeling so great. Blood pressure is within normal range. Their blood work now, everything is completely within normal range. And this is only due to their change of diet, which I'm not going to lie, it was not a super easy transition. I think it was a little easier for me because, like I said, I'd never been a huge meat eater. It was a bit difficult to stop eating cheese. But for my parents, it was a little bit harder. But, after several weeks of finding new recipes, now plant-based recipes, and finding ways to substitute some of their favorite meals and favorite foods for now plant-based foods, it got much easier over time. We were sharing recipes, we were sharing ideas. It was actually a really fun thing to do all together. And so my parents are still 100% whole foods, plant-based eaters. I'm about probably 98% because I do occasionally eat a little piece of cheese for the taste. I live in France, so I have to take advantage occasionally of some good cheese. And I also, if I go to a friend's house for dinner and they've made a beautiful tart and I know it's made with eggs and milk, I just have a slice and I completely enjoy it and don't worry about it. So that's my choice. But you don't have to go 100% plant-based in order to get benefits of healthier eating. You don't have to do like my parents did and all of a sudden overnight just completely change how they were eating and throw everything out of your kitchen. You can make some small changes over time and just go in a more plant-based direction. Add more vegetables and fruits to your diet and decrease the amount of meat and cheese that you're eating and decrease the amount of processed foods that you're eating. You're going to feel better. You're going to notice changes and you're probably going to start to lose some weight if you need to. And you will see your taste buds will also change over time. When you cut out or really drastically decrease the amount of meat, for example, or cheese that you're eating, after several months or even weeks, you will notice that it tastes a little bit different when you do go back to eating a little bit. Maybe you just need a little bit to satisfy your taste buds, or maybe it doesn't taste very good at all anymore. It's been an interesting thing to notice in myself and an interesting thing to notice in my parents and other friends and clients who've decided to go in a more plant-based eating style. So I wanted to share with you my parents' amazing story because I think it's such a great example of what the possibilities are, of how important what we eat is to the health of our body. So I hope that's helpful and I will see you again very soon. Bye.